is washing off the pain. Neon lights reflect the way I feel. Something broken slowly starts to heal. Glass and rain, I keep finding myself again in the silence of this city night. I'm becoming something like the light. I walked these streets 1,000 times before, with heavy steps and something at my core. A quiet ache I never named out loud, just disappeared inside the evening crowd. The violin is playing somewhere near, a melody that only I can hear. It pulls me in, it holds me like a hand, like someone out there finally understands. I ordered coffee, sat beside the glass, watched headlights blur and people moving fast. And for a moment everything went still, the kind of still that only cold rain will. I thought of you, I thought of who I was, before I chased the meaning just because, before I lost the softness in my chest, before I told myself I'd start to rest. Glass and rain on my window pane, every drop is washing off the pain. Neon lights reflect the way I feel. Something broken slowly starts to heal. I keep finding myself again in the silence of this city night. I'm becoming something like the light. There's beauty in the things we can't control, the weather and the seasons of the soul. I've been so hard on everything I do, but even storms know when to pass right through. The city hums a low and steady beat. It's in the bass beneath my tired feet, and every stranger shares this heavy sky. We're all just trying not to wonder why. I used to think that being strong meant walls, but strength is learning how to take the falls and sit inside the ache without a rush, to let the broken parts become a touch of something soft, of something I can hold, a story worth the telling when I'm old. Tonight I'm not ashamed of where I've been. I'm letting all the rain come pouring in. Glass and rain on my window pane, every drop is washing off the pain. Neon lights reflect the way I feel. Something broken slowly starts to heal. I keep finding yourself again in the silence of this city night. I'm becoming something like the light. Maybe grace is just a rainy night, maybe peace is just a quiet fight. Maybe love is sitting with the dark and still believing in a tiny spark. I don't need answers, just a place to breathe, a violin, a window in the eve, and somewhere in the city cold and wide, there's something warm still living deep inside. Let it fall, let the rain say what I never could. Let it wash everything like I knew it I'd find myself right here, sitting at the edge of everything I fear. The city breathes outside my fogged up glass, and I've been holding on to things that couldn't last. There's something in the way the streetlights glow. They turn the wet pavement into indigo. I trace the drops that run down slowly now, and somehow I feel lighter, don't know how. The violin comes in like an old friend, a melody that helps the heartache bend. It doesn't fix the cracks inside my chest, but makes me feel like broken can be blessed. I watch the people rushing through the storm. They have no idea how I've come undone, but that's okay. Tonight is just for me, just me and all this rain. And what could it be? Something shifting in the atmosphere, something quiet telling me it's clear that everything I lost was just a part of making room for something in my heart. Velvet rain falling on my skin, washing out the noise I've kept within. Every drop of prayer I couldn't say. Velvet rain is carrying me away. Velvet rain, I don't need to fight it or explain. Just let it fall, just let it come. Velvet rain until I'm finally home. I used to run from anything that hurt. I wore my independence like a shirt, but underneath it all I was so cold. Too young to know, but getting way too old. Tonight I let the sadness take its shape. I don't pretend that I've made my escape. I sit inside the feeling, let it breathe, and find that it's not something I should flee. The violin is crying in the key of everything I wish that I could be. And somewhere in that sound I recognize the version of myself behind my eyes. She's not afraid of falling anymore. She's not ashamed of knocking on the door. She knows that softness is a kind of strength, that love is worth the risk at any length. Something shifting in the atmosphere, something quiet telling me it's clear that everything I lost was just a part of making room for something in my heart. Velvet rain falling on my skin, washing out the noise I've kept within. Every drop of prayer I couldn't say. Velvet rain is carrying me away. Velvet rain, I don't need to fight it or explain. Just let it fall, just let it come. Velvet rain until I'm finally home. Maybe I was never really lost. Maybe every storm has got a cost, and what it cost is who I used to be. So who I'm meant to be can finally breathe. Maybe grace is not a grand reveal. Maybe it's a Tuesday how I feel, sitting by a window letting go, watching velvet rain put on a show. I don't need a reason or a sign, I just need to trust that I'll be fine. And in the city cold and full of light, something in me knows that I'm alright. I've been walking through the city half asleep, carrying the kind of silence no one sees. The neon signs are bleeding into streams, and I've been losing track of what it means to feel okay inside my own skin, to know exactly where I should begin. I stop beneath the street light, cold and gold, and let the rain say everything I'm told. The violin I heard from somewhere near cut through the noise like something I should hear. It played the notes I never could release, and for a moment everything found peace. I watched the taxi lights blur into lines. I read the city like a book of signs, and every raindrop hidden pavement said, let go of all the weight you've carried in your head. I'm not running anymore tonight. I'm standing in the storm and it feels right. Something in the music pulls me through. Something in the rain feels almost new. Hollow neon lights up everything I feel. Every broken edge is slowly becoming real. I don't need to hide inside the dark. The city and the violin are healing every scar. Hollow neon, hollow neon. I was empty but I'm filling up again. Hollow neon, burning through the rain, making something beautiful from pain. I called my sister once and didn't speak, just held the phone and let the silence leak. She stayed on for a while without a word. Sometimes the unspoken still gets heard. I've been so proud I almost missed the grace of letting someone else hold my space, of saying I am tired, I am worn, of showing someone else the places I've been torn. The violin comes back and plays it low, like it already knows what I can't show. It bends the note the way that heartbreak bends, and somehow holds the space where healing begins. I think of every version of myself, the ones I locked away upon the shelf. Tonight I bring them back into the room and let them dance inside this velvet gloom. I'm not running anymore tonight. I'm standing in the storm and it feels right. Something in the music pulls me through. Something in the rain feels almost new. Hollow neon lights up everything I feel. Every broken edge is slowly becoming real. I don't need to hide inside the dark. The city and the violin are healing every scar. Hollow neon, hollow neon. I was empty but I'm filling up again. Hollow neon, burning through the rain, making something beautiful from pain. There is a girl inside me, still so young, who had so many songs left to be sung. She doesn't know the ending, yet she's free. And tonight I let her breathe inside of me. There is a love I haven't found a name for, something warm behind a half-closed door. Not a person, not a place I've seen, just a feeling in between, like velvet and like concrete, rough and soft, like music you remember when you're lost, like rain that doesn't punish, only cleans, like neon light that finally means you are here, you are whole, myself at 2 a.m. again, sitting on the floor beside the window frame. The city never sleeps, but I can feel how quiet everything becomes when hearts need to heal. I poured a glass of water, watched it still, and thought about the things I never will. Take back the words, undo the nights I cried, or find the pieces of the girl I left inside. The pavement outside glows a deep dark blue, that kind of blue that only rain can make true. And somewhere in the distance dreams began, a violin that played without a plan. It didn't ask me how I was tonight, it just came in and filled the room with light. The kind of light that doesn't blind your eyes, but softly shows the truth behind your lies. I've been so careful not to fall apart, I've been so quiet with this aching heart. But tonight the rain is louder than my fear, and something in the music says stay here. Where did it go? Across the city sky, I finally let myself ask God the reason why. Every note the violin is playing feels like grace, like someone put the stars back into place. Where did it go? Where did it go? I'm learning how to let the feelings go, not run from them but walk right through the blue. Where did it go? Is how I'm finding you. I think about the version that I showed to everyone who never saw the load. The smile I wore like armor every day, the laugh I used to keep the truth away. But here alone inside this velvet night, I don't have to pretend that I'm alright. I can just be the girl who's tired and lost, who's learning what it means to bear the cost of growing up too fast and feeling small, of loving people who don't love at all. The violin picks up as if it knows, it plays the ache inside me as it goes. And something in the melody releases a part of me that broke into 1,000 pieces. I let the sound collect them from the floor. I'm not the girl I was, I'm something more. I've been so careful not to fall apart, I've been so quiet with this aching heart. But tonight the rain is louder than my fear, and something in the music says stay here. Where did it go? Across the city sky, I finally let myself ask God the reason why. Every note the violin is playing feels like grace, like someone put the stars back into place. Where did it go? Where did it go? I'm learning how to let the feelings go, not run from them but walk right through the blue. Where did it go? Is how I'm finding you. This language that the rain speaks after dark, it writes its words in puddles in the park. It says that everything you've been through counts, that every tear you cried was not in doubt, that even when the sky is pressing down, the deepest indigo can make you drown. You were made to feel and made to rise, you were made to see the morning after night. I hear it in the violin tonight, that low and aching gorgeous kind, the kind that doesn't need a word to say, that broken things find beauty and kind of night that finds you unprepared, when everything you buried surfaces in the stairs. I lit a candle on the windowsill at 10 and watched the city cry itself to sleep again. The traffic lights below turn red then green, like signals in a language in between. And I've been standing at this crossroad for so long, not sure if staying here or leaving is the wrong. The violin began somewhere across the hall, a neighbor playing softly through the wall. Or maybe it was just inside my head, a melody I needed in the space instead. It took the shape of every question I have asked, of every future hiding in the past. It didn't give me answers, only sound, but in that sound I swear I finally found a silver thread inside the darkest blue, a reason to keep going, something true. The kind of feeling no one taught me how to name, but here it is and nothing feels the same. Silver ring inside my chest tonight, turning all my heavy into light. Every note is landing like a prayer. Silver ring reminds me someone's there. Silver ring, beautiful and sharp like a heartbreak. I would rather feel this than feel nothing at all. Silver ring is how I learned to fall. I called no one tonight and that was fine. Sometimes healing is the most alone you've felt in time. I made some tea and sat beside the floor and let the feeling knocking open every door. I thought about the people I have loved, who came like seasons warm and then above. The clouds that covered everything we had, I don't call them failures, just a little sad. I'm grateful for the lessons and the leaving, for the nights I spent alone believing that something bigger had a longer view, that every ending was a door into the new. The violin plays on like it agrees, it bends and swells and moves along with me. And in the music I can finally see that silver eggs are what if shape me. A silver thread inside the darkest blue, a reason to keep going, something true. The kind of feeling no one taught me how to name, but here it is and nothing feels the same. Silver ring inside my chest tonight, turning all my heavy into light. Every note is landing like a prayer. Silver ring reminds me someone's there. Silver ring, beautiful and sharp like a heartbreak. I would rather feel this than feel nothing at all. Silver ring is how I learned to fall. There is a cost to being open wide. There is a risk in letting people inside, but I have paid the price and I'm still here, still standing in the rain without the fear. I used to think that softness was my flaw, that feeling everything broke, some unspoken law. But now I know the ones who feel the most are not the weakest, they're the ones who go the closest to the edge of what is real, the closest to the grace we almost miss. And on this night with rain against the glass, I feel it all and nothing needs to pass. I hold the silver ray inside my hands like something rare that no one understands, but I do now and I won't let it go. This is exactly how the broken learn to glow. Let the silver run through every vein, let the always a design. Silver inside my chest tonight, turning on my heavy into light. Every note is landing like a prayer. Silver reminds me someone's there. Silver beautiful and sharp like a heartbreak. I would rather feel this than feel nothing at all. Silver is how I learned to fall. Silver is how I learned to fall. Silver I'm not afraid at all. Silver this is how I glow. Silver turning into light. Silver egg. Ghost of neon. I walk the long way home again tonight, past every bar and every broken light. The city awards rain like second skin, and I was somewhere lost between what's out and in. I had a conversation with myself about the dreams I put back on the shelf, the ones I said I'd come back to someday, but someday has a way of slipping away. I stopped beside a window full of gold, a restaurant where strangers laughed and told their stories over wine and candlelight, and I stood watching from the cold outside. The violin I heard beneath the beat was rising from the cracks beneath the street, like something old and beautiful and true, reminded me of everything I knew. Before the world convinced me to be small, before I learned to hesitate and stall, before I traded wonder for control, you play me back the music of my soul. Something ancient in the melody tonight, something pulling me toward a different light. Not the neon and the noise out on the street, but the quiet burning fire in my heartbeat. Ghosts of neon in the pouring rain, I can feel you calling out my name. Every color bleeding through the night is a ghost of something that once felt right. Ghosts of neon, ghosts of neon. I'm not chasing what is gone and done, I'm just learning how to see the glow of the ghost of neon in my soul. I remember when I danced without a reason, when I changed my favorite song with every season, when I wore my heart so loud upon my chest that strangers on the subway could have guessed. But somewhere in the growing up I hid, or that version of myself became a whisper, a ghost inside the woman that I showed, a flicker in the part that people don't know. Tonight I let her out into the rain, I let her feel the cold and feel the pain, I let her lift her face up to the sky. never really left. She was just waiting underneath the weight of every role I learned to play so well, of every story I was scared to tell. She lives inside the part of me that cries at violet skies and strangers saying their goodbyes. She lives inside the music and the rain, in every city street that bears my name. And tonight I reach my hand out in the dark and feel her fingers warm against my heart. She says I never needed to become someone less alive to please someone. She says the neon wasn't false, just dim, and all it took was rain to find it again. All it takes is standing in the storm to remember what it felt like to be warm. Let the ghost of neon light me up inside. Let the rain dissolve the places that I hide. Every version of myself is welcome here. Every ghost I've carried slowly disappears. Into music, into movement, into sound, into everything I lost and finally found. The violin knows every scar I name and plays them back as something not a shame. Ghost of neon in the pouring rain, I can feel you calling out my name. Every color bleeding through the night is a ghost of something that once felt right. Ghost of neon, ghost of neon. I'm not chasing what is gone and done. I'm just learning how to see the glow of the ghost of neon in my soul. Ghost of neon burning in my soul. Ghost of neon making me whole. Ghost of neon, I finally know. I'll walk the long way home again tonight. I poured the last of something good tonight and sat inside the amber of the light, the kind of light that makes the hard things soft, the kind that lifts the things you thought were lost. I hadn't cried in weeks and that felt wrong, like holding back the tide for far too long. So when the rain came knocking at the pane, I opened up and let it all explain what words can never organize or say. The grief that doesn't have a name or day, it just arrives like weather, like a guest who shows up uninvited but knows best. The violin came in beneath the beat and found the exact frequency of my heartbeat. It didn't try to fix or rearrange, it only said that feeling this is not strange. I am not broken, I am just becoming something I don't have the language for yet. Every tear tonight is not about the losing, it's about the things I haven't found yet. Velvet rain, fall down on everything I am, wash away the version built for other hands. Every note the violin is crying sounds like me. Velvet rain, setting something free. Velvet rain, soft and heavy, pleasure wrapped in pain. I don't need the sun to feel alive. something I don't have the language for yet. Every tear tonight is not about the losing, it's about the things I haven't found yet. Velvet rain, fall down on everything I am. Wash away the version built for other hands. Every note, the violin is crying, sounds like me. Velvet rain is setting something free. Velvet rain, soft and heavy, pleasure wrapped in pain. I don't need the sun to feel alive tonight. Velvet rain is giving me the light. There is a grace in not pretending. There is a gift in falling without defending. Every wall I built around the tender, every armor I wore to not surrender, falls tonight like rain falls without asking, falls without performance, without masking. And underneath the layers and the years, it's just a girl who needed room for tears, who needed someone or something to say. You don't have to earn the right to feel this way. You don't have to justify the ache. You don't have to hold yourself awake, explaining why the storm inside is real. You are allowed to feel. And so I do, I feel it all tonight. The velvet and the violence of the light, the beauty and the breakdown and the blur, the music playing back the best of her. Let the velvet rain dissolve the walls. Let it reach the places no one calls. Every corner of the heart I've kept in shadow. Every field in me that's never had a meadow. Open now beneath the rain and the streams. Open now to all that softness brings. I was never meant to live half closed. I was always meant to feel the most. Velvet rain, fall down on everything I am. Wash away the version built for other hands. Every note, the violin is crying, sounds like me. Velvet rain is setting something free. Velvet rain, soft and heavy, pleasure wrapped in pain. I don't need the sun to feel alive tonight. Velvet rain is giving me the light. Velvet rain is giving me the light. Velvet rain, I'm finally alright. Velvet rain, fall down on me tonight. Velvet rain, setting something free. I keep the lights down low on nights like this, when everything I touch becomes a mess, when memories arrange themselves like art in every empty corner of my heart. I made some space between the books and things, for all the feelings that the midnight brings, the ones that only surface after 10, when silence gets too loud to hold again. I've been so composed throughout the day, so perfectly arranged changed in every way, but porcelain can only hold so much before it needs a gentle human touch. The rain outside is saying what I can't. The violin is playing what I want to say to someone somewhere in the dark who understands the language of a broken heart. Don't ask me to explain what I can't name. Don't ask the fire to apologize for flame. Just let me be unfinished and unsure. Just let me be the feeling at the core. Midnight porcelain, so fine, so thin, the beautiful and fragile place I'm in. Every note the violin delivers cracks me wide. Midnight porcelain is breaking open the light inside. Midnight porcelain, midnight porcelain. I was never meant to just look good on the shelf again. I was made to fall and fracture and be found. Midnight porcelain is the most beautiful sound. I found an old photograph inside a drawer of someone that I recognized, but wore a different kind of light behind her eyes. Before the years replaced the wonder with the why, she stood beside the ocean in July, one hand above her face to shield the sky, and she was laughing at something real, the kind of laugh that only truth can feel. I pressed my thumb against her face and said I'm sorry for the things that left instead of staying for the joy I let escape, for trading all that color for a shape that fit more easily in rooms of others, for learning how to shrink beneath the covers of expectation, duty, and the fear. But she just smiled and said you're almost here. The violin swelled up like it agreed, like something in the music heard my need and offered back not answers but a space where broken things could show their broken face. Don't ask me to explain what I can't name. Don't ask the fire to apologize for flame. Just let me be unfinished and unsure. Just let me be the feeling at the core. Midnight porcelain, so fine, so thin, the beautiful and fragile place I'm in. Every note the violin delivers cracks me wide. Midnight porcelain is breaking open light inside. Midnight porcelain, midnight porcelain. I was never meant to just look good on the shelf again. I was made to fall and fracture and be found. Midnight porcelain is the most beautiful sound. Porcelain was never meant for hiding. It was always made for light to pass through. All the cracks that I've been so carefully minding were the places where the music could come through. I've been treating my imperfections like failures, like the breaking was a thing to be ashamed. But the light that fills a cracked and open vessel is more beautiful than one that's never changed. So tonight I lay the pieces on the table, not to fix them and not to put them back, but to see them in the violet of the midnight and to love the beauty living in each crack. There is someone in the music that is listening. There is something in the rain that understands that the most divine and holy kind of healing comes to those who open both their hands. Let the porcelain shatter on the floor. Let the midnight show what all the cracks are for. Every piece of me that fell apart and broke is a different color in the morning smoke. I am certain kind of quiet after midnight, when the city stops pretending to be fine. I pulled the window open to the weather, let the cold come in and sit beside the warm. Because I've learned that holding both together is the only honest way to ride a storm. The violin arrived inside the silence, like a hand that found my shoulder in the dark. It didn't need a reason or an answer, it just played itself into the softest part. I remember, I am flood, I am everything between. I am all the things I felt and all the things unseen. I am not the face I show when daylight makes demands. I am what is left when music takes my hands. Ember and flood inside me, burning and dissolving. Every wall I ever built is slowly, slowly falling. Let the violin decide what happens to the pieces. Ember and flood until the hurting finally ceases. Ember and flood, ember and flood. Half on fire and half beneath the flood. I don't need to choose between the burning and the wave. Ember and flood is how the broken get remade. I remember every room where I made myself smaller, every table where I folded up my voice. The wounds have their own wisdom if you let them. They know exactly what they need to heal. So tonight I am not graceful, I am honest. Tonight I am not easy, I am true. Tonight the violin is playing all my edges, and I'm finally letting it come through. I am ember, I am flood, I am everything between. I am all the things I felt and all the things unseen. I am not the face I show when daylight makes demands. I am what is left when music takes my hands. Ember and flood inside me, burning and dissolving. Every wall I ever built is slowly, slowly falling. Let the violin decide what happens to the pieces. Ember and flood until the hurting finally ceases. Ember and flood, ember and flood. Half on fire and half beneath the flood. I don't need to choose between the burning and the wave. Ember and flood is how the broken get remade. There is a woman in me made of river. There is a woman in me made of flame. And for so long I thought they were in conflict, but tonight I understand they are the same. The fire needs the water to have meaning. The flood needs the ember to have light. I will let the ember and the flooding move together and trust that what they make is mine tonight. kettle on and watch the steam dissolve into the ceiling like a dream. The city outside wrapped in silver rain was doing what it always does again. I sat beside the window with my wine and drew a line between your life and mine. Not out of anger, not out of regret, but out of something softer I forget. The violin came drifting through the speakers like it was searching for the deepest part of me, and it found it without asking, without knocking. It just walked right in and let me finally breathe. I have been so careful with this heart of mine, wrapping it in silence, keeping it in line. But tonight the rain is giving me permission to stop being careful and start being mine. Glass and gold, that's what I'm made of, breakable and brilliant in the dark. Glass and gold, the violin is saying every crack in me is also art. Glass and gold, the most precious things are fragile and bold. I don't have to choose between the tender and the strong. Glass and gold is where I belong. I used to think that softness was a weakness, that needing things was something to outgrow. But I have seen the quiet swallow people whole. I have watched the strong become the cold. So I decided somewhere in the unnamed year that I would rather feel than just be told that I was doing well, that I was fine, because fine is just a word for still surviving. And I was made for something more than fine. I was made for 3 a.m. and violin, for rain on glass and deep house pulling in, for feeling everything at once and not apologizing, for being both the wound and the medicine. I have been so careful with this heart of mine, wrapping it in silence, keeping it in line. But tonight the rain is giving me permission to stop being careful and start being mine. Glass and gold, that's what I'm made of, breakable and brilliant in the dark. Glass and gold, the violin is saying every crack in me is also art. Glass and gold, the most precious things are fragile and bold. I don't have to choose between the tender and the strong. Glass and gold is where I belong. There is something in the rain tonight that feels like grace, where I stop hiding all the gold beneath the glass and let it show. Full of every time I said I'm okay, really wow. Something golden slowly dimmed inside, but it didn't go out, it never goes out. The gold in me was patient, it just waited for a night like this, with rain and violin and deep house. For a moment when I finally stopped and let it. Glass and gold, that's what I'm made of, breakable and brilliant in the dark. Glass and gold, the violin is saying every crack in me is also art. Glass and gold, the most precious things are fragile and bold. I don't have to choose between the tender and the strong. Glass and gold is where myself a glass of something warm and watch the street below perform its storm. The neon signs were bleeding into puddles, and every passing car was solving nothing. I had a version of myself I kept on layaway, waiting for a better kind of day. But the better kind of day kept getting